All right, classes, this is Mr. S here.
Mr. Wolf, how we doing, fellas?
Mr. McGinnis.
All right, today, men, we're gonna work as lab partners together to do a lab on empirical formulas, and we're gonna collect some data, and that you'll be able to figure out the empirical formula of the product between magnesium and oxygen. We learned in class that you can find the empirical formula of an unknown compound from mass data, and so today we are going to collect some mass measurements on the magnesium, and then the magnesium after it reacts with oxygen, and then we'll be able to calculate the number of grams of magnesium, number of grams of oxygen, and then once we do that, we can convert that to moles. Those moles will become the subscripts, and then we would find the lowest whole number ratio of those subscripts to get the empirical formula for the product between magnesium and oxygen, what we're going to call MgxOy, because the X and Y are the unknown moles. Now, when you heat magnesium up to a high temperature, around 800 degrees Celsius, it actually spontaneously reacts with oxygen, and it reacts pretty dramatically. And so I'm going to demonstrate that quickly. I have a strip of magnesium here I'm holding with crucible tongs. I'm going to put it into the flame of a Bunsen burner that's next to me here. I don't want to light the camera on fire, so I'm going to go out of the screen. I'll light the magnesium, and we'll see how that looks when the magnesium reacts.
Whoa, don't look at that.
That's pretty dramatic. Now, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to uncover our data table, and then Mr. McGinnis is going to step in, and he's going to take some mass measurements.
Okay, so some of the things we're going to use, in addition to our strip of magnesium, which is a rather dullish gray metal, a little bit shiny, but sits outside for a while, it gets pretty dull pretty fast. We're going to use a crucible, which is this ceramic thing here. It is for making things very, very hot, and crucible lid. So we are going to weigh those together, and the crucible and the lid, I get 32.995 grams. Now we're going to add the magnesium into that. We start with about a 25 centimeter strip of magnesium, and I'm going to roll it up so that it can fit into the crucible, and then we'll just add it to the whole mass. So when you roll it up, you try to leave some space between the rolls so that air can get in there. Remember, we're reacting this with oxygen, so we don't want to cover up the magnesium too much. Okay, so I'm just going to put the magnesium in there, put that back on, and I get 33.463. Okay. So, at this point, we're ready to start heating the crucible. One thing, we're going to use these tools. These are crucible tongs. They move the crucible carefully. Crucibles get hot. And so I'm going to put it over here, and we are going to change the V so that you can see what's going on. There we go. So you can see the crucible is in what's called a clay triangle, in just a ring stand. The lid is on, the lid is off a little bit right now so that oxygen can get in there, because it needs to react with oxygen. So to that, we are going to bring in fire, and it will begin to heat. Good.
Once the crucible gets red hot, Mr. S is jumping in here. Once the crucible gets red hot, the magnesium will then be able to spontaneously, you can see it kind of glowing inside, right? We'll be able to spontaneously react with the oxygen that's in the air around it and create that MgO product, the MgxOy product. Yeah, Mr. McGinnis will take the lid off so you can see what's going on inside, and then we'll put it back on.
that. You
See our magnesium? Yeah.
Smoke coming out.
Okay, see, you probably can't see it on the screen, but we can see some white smoke. Maybe Mr. McGinnis can lift the lid off quickly. There you go. There's that reaction. So now what we're going to do is we're going to heat this magnesium up for at least 5 minutes in the crucible. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video, stop the video, and we'll come back 5 minutes later. So you don't have to sit here. Just one more look. Oh, yeah.
All right, fellas. So we let this heat for about 5 minutes, and right now it's pretty cool. But we're going to give you a quick before and after. So just recall that the magnesium looked like this. It was a nice, semi-shiny, kind of dull metal. And then we're just going to look to see what it looked like inside. So I'll remove the crucible lid, and we see that we have lots of what we hope to be magnesium oxide in here. Okay, so it's much, much different. And then we're going to go ahead and weigh this to get our last data point. So then I'll take this off. Thanks, Mr. McGinnis. And then we're going to just simply I'll bring the camera over to the, excuse the shaking. Probably not going to help, but we'll go ahead and weigh our crucible and our lid after we clear. That's all zeroed out. So we'll put on that, put on here. And we get a mass of what looks to be 33.647 grams. Remember, sig figs are important. When you're using a digital scale, you just record all of them. So 647 grams, okay?
And show them the final data table?
Yeah, so then we have our data table right here. Let's actually just orient this the other way so you can kind of see what we have recorded. I'm sorry, the other way, so that you can see. We'll have digital copies of this online for you, so then you can get your own data and everything from there. But that is your data. And then obviously if there's any other questions going forward, feel free to email us or contact us however you need us to do. All right, fellas, take care. We'll keep thinking of you.
Yep, bye.
Right.